بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our brand new show, The Hidden Sun, inshallah, where we'll be discussing features and the existence and why we need to be looking and researching into this great subject, the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi, ajalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. And I am joined by our esteemed guest, Sheikh Ali Massoumian. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. How are you, Sheikhna, today? Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, just before we get started and just before we can hear the amazing and wise, beautiful words from Sheikh Ali, we would like to take you with us to send salutations to the Imam of our time.
Assalamu alayka ya hujjat Allah fi arzi. Assalamu alayka ya ayna Allah fi khalqi. Assalamu alayka ya الذي يهتدي به المهتدون ويفرج به عن المؤمنين. السلام عليك أيها المهذب الخائف. السلام عليك أيها الغني. السلام عليك أيها المهذب الخائف. السلام عليك أيها الغني المنصف. السلام عليك يا سفينة النجاة. السلام عليك يا أين الحياة. يا أين الحياة.
السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وعجل الله تعالى فرجك الشريف. Sheikhna, we have just sent our salutations to the Imam of our time. Sometimes many people refer to the Imam of our time as the hidden sun. And this show, as you know, is called The Hidden Sun. What is the true relation between the sun and the Imam of our time?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Dear brother and all the viewers out there, the hidden sun is regards to a hadith from Imam alayhi salam that says the sun behind the clouds gives warmth and benefits many people without it being seen. And your Imam in the time of Ghibah will be the same way. In Ghibat al-Kubra that we're living in now, we can benefit from the Imam, from his warmth, we can benefit from his direction, we can benefit from everything that we need from him. The only difference being that he's hidden behind the clouds that we cannot see him just as the sun would be. So the hidden sun is from that hadith, if you like. That's why people use it to refer to our Imam. And there were many other similarities with regards to the sun and the Imam. First of all, with regards to the sun and the Imam, the sun, the moon, the universe as you see it now was created because of the Imam. There's many ahadith to convey that message. Also, nothing would be able to live without the sun. If you use Google right now and see how long a human would last if they had no sunshine. If they lived in darkness, for example, complete darkness, that is. So, just as the existence of the sun is essential for our existence, for the human race's existence, the existence of Imam Zaman is essential for the existence of me and you. The Hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth is a must at every time until the Day of Judgment. Just as, for example, the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the beginning of time or our time was Adam alayhi salam. At the end of time, it will be the 12th Imam. And throughout this period, there has to be a hujjah on earth. Now, just as the existence of and development of everything requires a sun, if you see the trees, if you see the cultivation of the farms and everything else, requires a sun. For us to be able to be healthy, for us to be able to expand in every other way, we need the guidance of that 12th Imam. It's not necessarily the guidance that is brightly in your face, but it's enough for you to be in the right direction, inshallah.
So I'm guessing, inshallah, if what we can extract from this, just very roughly, that in the same way that the sun sends this blessing towards us, we are getting blessed by the Imam with his existence.
Not just blessed, but guidance. You see, blessing is something extra, if you like.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is your sheer existence is dependent on the sun. Your sheer existence is dependent on Imam Zaman.
Yeah.
You get blessing. Blessing is something on top.
Something on top, just an extra thing.
Whereas the bare existence of me and you would not be possible, was it not for the sun, as would it not be possible for Imam Zaman. And the existence of the sun itself would not be possible if it wasn't for Imam Zaman. So the existence of the sun that you depend on exists on Imam Zaman.
Meaning the universe, the whole universe is dependent on the existence of the Imam of our time. So therefore, I think just before we get into the existence of the Imam,
our universe,
our universe itself, I think before we get into the existence of the Imam of our time, since we said that all of this existence is dependent on him, what is the true reason for our existence? So why do we have to exist? What is the purpose of our existence?
So there are many stages of existence, if you like, as humans. Most people look at this world in a one-dimension kind of manner. If you look at the hadith, there were other dimensions to existence, such as the existence before this existence and the existence after this existence. And then there is a eternal existence. So if you like, there are three existences and one eternal, which is the fourth one. So one existence before this, the Alam Adar, where there was a creation before this, there is some vague understanding of it. It's not clear of exactly what occurred in that life, but what is sure is that we existed, and that existence occurred. And then there is the existence of this life as we are today. This period we know very well about, which could last anything from a single split second, because a baby could die at a split second, or it could last 100 and something years, depending, or it could last 1,000 years. And then there is Barzakh, which is the third one. Again, Barzakh, we don't know how long it would last, because it depends when the Day of Judgment comes. Now, Barzakh is a type of existence that's related to the other two. The reason it's related to the other two is that much of what we see in the rawat with regards to Barzakh is physical. So you have physical pain, you have physical pleasures, you have physical uprising. So there's a physical aspect to Barzakh as there is in the dunya.
I think just before we continue, Sheikhna, just for the viewers, inshallah, all of people of knowledge, however, just for those who don't know, what is Barzakh?
Okay, so with regards to the afterlife, after this life, there are two hells and two heavens, if you like, to make it simple. One hell is temporary, one hell is permanent. One heaven is temporary, one heaven is permanent. No one that will go to heaven in Barzakh will go to hell after Yawm al-Qiyamah. But some people that may go to hell in Barzakh may go to heaven after Day of Judgment. Everybody that dies, as soon as the soul leaves their body, they will see where they're going to be. They will see their destination. So the Malaika will show them, this is where you're going. Therefore, you see some people die with a sad face, and there's some people that die with a smile and a happy face, because they see where they're going, and they're happy to go there. Such as the riwayat we have from, not long ago, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, رأيت جدي رسول الله صلى الله رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه ابن عمي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ورأيت جعفر ورأيت حمزة I saw the Prophet ﷺ, and I saw Ja'far, and I saw Hamza, and they were all telling me that your place is here with us and we're waiting for you in heaven. عجل قدومك إلينا, please hurry up and come towards us. So obviously when you see that, it makes the pain of, for example, leaving Hassan and Hussein and Zainab and Kulthum much easier, because you're becoming completed.
Definitely.
Shahada or martyrdom is the last level of completion in dunya. Going back to the original question, which is why we're created, which is to be completed, to be complete human beings. The last level of completion is shahada. The best level of completion is martyrdom. Now, when a person, his soul is taken away from him, and it is done by Malik al-Maut, Azrael. In the ahadith, we have that the exiting of the ruh, or the soul, from the body is a very painful experience for everybody. Depending on the deeds that you've done, it will differ for every other person, whether how easy or how difficult it will be that you take your last breaths. Now, with regards to Azrael, there is a example that one can make for the viewers out there, that just as Azrael, who is an angel, whose existence is dependent on Imam Zaman, can be in a multiple number of locations at one time. Not can be, but is. If you see, for example, on the news or anywhere, that there is multiple deaths at one time.
Same second, in fact.
Yeah, the same millisecond, not the same, the same moment exactly. Definitely. For example, in Japan, in America, in China, in Africa, in Middle East, at the same time, 5, 6, which means the angel of death can be present in multiple locations at the very split second. Now, this angel is far lower as far as ability compared to the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth, our 12th Imam. So if this angel can be in those multiple locations at one time, then there is no reason why to doubt how Imam Zaman can be in those multiple locations at the same time.
Definitely.
And hear everybody and see everybody at the same time all around the world, regardless of where they may be. Now, going back to your question with regards to Barzakh. So Barzakh is the temporary hell and temporary heaven, basically, until the Day of Judgment, where eternity begins. Some hadith may suggest that mu'mineen may be cleansed from their sins during this period by being in hell in Barzakh, and then going into eternal heaven. Nobody should think that because it's temporary, it's easy. From what we see, it says that when people are dead and they bring them back to life and they ask them, how long have you been dead? The person who's been in hell in Barzakh, who has just died, he comes back and says, thousands of years I've been dead and I've been punished, whereas he's just died moments ago. And a person who is in heaven, he said, I've just died, and he's been dead thousands of years because he's so, he's having so much pleasure and enjoying himself so much, time goes so quickly.
And it's something we see here as well as we're living. Sometimes when we enjoy our time,
time goes quickly.
It tends to go quickly, and when we're not having as much fun, or when we're waiting.
Exactly. So multiply that by 1,000, or many thousands, or millions, and you might get an idea of what happens with it. So no one should think that, for example, because it's temporary, it's easy. In no shape or form is it easy. To add on to that, I will come back to the topic, just
that's fine,
because it's hopefully useful for everybody.
Inshallah.
One of the things that we enjoy in this dunya, because I think the viewers that we're watching are most likely mu'min in themselves, we're not talking to a very adverse crowd. One of the things we enjoy in dunya is our respect. So for example, you come somewhere, they say, Assalamu alaikum, please come. You're the son of Fulan, the daughter of Fulan, you have this particular title against you with your name, and so forth. You enjoy this. Everybody that's watching this enjoys this. Now, this have this in your mind. When you enter the Day of Judgment, one of the things that happens is your file is opened. And one of the biggest punishments is that your file is open, people can see below what's happening. So if you're chosen to be one of those people, then everyone will see who you are for real. So all those curtains that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put as sitr in dunya will be removed. So one of the biggest punishment itself is not necessarily going to fire or anything else. It's just you being who you are for real in front of everyone else. You being naked from who you are in front of everyone else. Because in this dunya, you know, you've grown a beard, you've had a hijab, you've had a good name from a good family, whatever you've done. And people respect you and think you're a good person. No one knows really what you're about. That's why in the du'as, such as dua al-Kumail, dua al-Iftitah, dua Abu Hamza and so forth, you see that it asks you to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that there is no curtains. You know, speak about the true beggar, the true sinner going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for him to keep everything covered, just as he has done so far.
And it's that we see that a lot in Dua Abu Hamza al-Thamali, which we were reciting just a couple of days ago as well. And
because sitr is not the right, but it's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it can be removed at any time. So the best act to do is change oneself for real in dunya, so that when the covers are removed in Yawm al-Qiyamah, you've not lived two lives. You've not lived in two ways. Everything you've done has been open. In any case, with regards to our 12th Imam as well, there's one point that I wanted to mention. Inshallah, in the future shows you can remind me to explain further. It's just this, that if you look at the most loved ones around you, be it your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, your children, your best friend, your wife, your husband, whoever they may be, depending on your age obviously, the closest person to your heart, when they do something wrong, it becomes really painful to your heart. You know, it breaks your heart. You trusted them, you love them, you gave them everything, and they break your heart. How does it feel? You feel betrayed, don't you?
Yes, very hard.
It's very painful to go through that. Now, in the hadith that we have is that Imam Zaman Ajtf Sharif loves us more than the mother's love of a baby, if not multiplied by thousands. Every time that we sin or we do something haram, we are acting on this against our Imam. So we're betraying him, we're breaking his heart. If we can actually comprehend this, that you know what, forget everything else, and forget the ayat and Yawm al-Qiyamah and the punishment and hell and heaven and grave. But there's one man that loves me this much and has given me everything that I've requested and has always been with me. Everyone has let you down, everyone has lied to you, everyone has stabbed you in the back. There's one man that's always been with you. Why betray him?
Definitely.
Is it worth that sin to make shaitan happy, that you break the heart of Imam Zaman into pieces? Surely not.
And you know what, Sheikhna, I think on that beautiful point, if the dear viewers may ponder upon that as we move on to a nasheed, inshallah, and you can think about this point, this very beautiful point of the Imam loves you, do not break his heart. And like the Sheikh beautifully mentioned as well, as not eternal, let's say, as the grave of the punishment of the grave is, however, it could be the time that you feel in that is dependent on your enjoyment or how bad you are feeling in that specific grave. So inshallah, by making the Imam happy, that time will go with a split of a second, inshallah. Watch the nasheed with us, inshallah, and we'll be with you straight after.
اگه آقامون نیومد نذاریم دلا بمیره انتظار مهدی امروز همه حرف قدیره. اگر روشو نمیبینی گلی از باد نمیچینی، بیا لااقل بریم تا سر راهش بنشینی. بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی. شب قدر اومده اما شب غم به سر نیومد. چرا چشم من نباره ماهم از سفر نیومد. چشمو میبندم و توی بین الحرمینه ذکر کربلا هم امشب یا لسارات حسینه. بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی، بیا مهدی.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. After the beautiful nasheed, inshallah, we'll be carrying on with the beautiful and wise words from Sheikh. Sheikhna, just before we moved on to the nasheed, I think the main point that we were speaking about right there was regarding the purpose of our existence. So, the true question is, why do we exist in the way we do? And as we know, we're here in the world. We are told worship, we are told do this, we are told do that, and everything is as if it's, you know how we say in the Arabic language, amr, like this has to be done in this specific way. What's the purpose of it? What do we gain from it?
See, with regards to being ordered from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the instructions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's natural. So we forget the relationship between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are servants. We are the created and He is the creator.
Yeah.
By ourselves we have nothing and we own nothing and we have no ability. Anything that we have is because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Furthermore, anything that Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam have is because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at the way they speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes shaitan has influenced us so much that we think that we are something, or that we are independent in some way, or that we deserve respect from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas if you look at ourselves humbly and truthfully, Allah has done so much for us and so much mercy and so much blessing that we don't deserve any of it. So as far as being ordered or being told what to do, this is the righteous way that it should be, if we agree that this is who we are. If you don't believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you don't believe that you are the creation and He has created you and He has blessed you with this existence, then fine. But otherwise, then everything you have is owed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
And one as a servant should be happy to have a master such as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You know, you mentioned a few key words here. You said the mercy of Allah. You said blessed to be existing. You said we should be happy to have a master such as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, a question that sometimes arises is this blessing, so we're told we're blessed to exist, this mercy, because we lie under the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this fact of having the best of masters, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why would Allah still allow hardships? Why would He allow bala on us, hardships, during if He is all merciful, if He's trying to bless us with our existence in this world?
So in the dua as well, you see that it says the hardship or the bad things that I see is from me, anything good I see is from you. Any issues or problems that I have is because of my deeds. Any goodness that I see is because of your deeds. So it's natural that because we are fallible and we make mistakes, we have to pay for those mistakes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're going to be a human that kills Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha, if you're going to be a human that kills Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam, if you're going to be a human that is happy to throw a bomb and wipe out millions of people so you can be powerful and be a king for 2 days of dunya, then you have to expect certain consequences of that. You cannot do whatever you want and have no consequence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the universe in a way that every action has a reaction and every deed has a consequence. And if our deeds are bad, we have bad consequences to answer for.
Yep.
But if they're good also, we have good and positive benefits that we can reap from them.
Thing is, with saying that, there is a specific scholar or imam, as they refer to him, that says we are musakhar. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in existing us, He knows what we're going to do, and therefore He has told us what to do. Is that an approach we can take with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Can we really say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact, because He created me, because He knows what I'm doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, oh, you're going to be doing this specific bad act, you're going to be...
If there was no choice in our deeds, then it would be unjust to have the Day of Judgment and hell and heaven. Every single one of us has a choice, and for those choices we have consequences. If right now you took a knife and stabbed me, I would bleed. There will be no one stopping you. There will be no angel suddenly removing your hand or your knife, and there will be nothing to stop me from bleeding to death. Correct?
Yeah.
And that would be a choice that you can make. At the same time, you can use the same hand and pull someone that is dying out of danger, and you would have saved their lives. So that hand of yours has that ability. Having knowledge of what will happen in the future in no way affects the present. I say to my students sometimes, in fact, just this year in the classes in Najaf, I was saying, if you have students, I have students in front of me, and I know when I give tests, what results they will get.
Yeah.
Because I've been with them for a year, from the beginning. I know who has studied, who has not studied. I know some of them sleep late at night and they come to the lesson and they're sleeping, I know from their handwriting, from how much work they do, how good they are. I know from, for example, how much effort they put in, what questions they ask after the lesson, of how strong they are in their lessons. So I know which subject who will most likely get a good grade. The knowledge of the teacher of the grade, eventual grade at the end of the year of the student, no way affects what grade they're going to get. I know because I've seen what's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that they should not take exams.
Definitely.
Or that their examination is pointless, or that they're being controlled by a higher being. The fact that the teacher knows at the end of the day what results the students are going to get in no way affects their results.
Their true result.
You could have stayed up 2 weeks and done so much research and so much work or you could have... My point is that the knowledge of knowing an outcome doesn't in any way influence the outcome, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full knowledge of what will happen. No doubt about it. He's all-knowing. But His knowledge of where we're going to be in no way affects your actions.
So you just know of the actions we're going to take.
Plus, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And everything that is around us is around us in a way that your actions will lead to the consequences, and other people's actions around you. So it's not just your actions, it's the other people's actions around you as well, which in no way means that there is any injustice done, by the way. So some people think, you know what, if a man and a woman commit adultery, and their child is born outside marriage, why is that child has to suffer? Because of the consequences of two people going towards shaitan. And the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. So that person, that child, will have either in dunya or in dunya and akhirah ways that will bring back the justice for him, that will give him what is missed out.
And that's part of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That is the justice of Allah subhanahu
Justice
wa ta'ala.
of Allah, sorry.
And the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that everyone will get whatever consequences coming to them. If you do injustice, you will see the consequences in dunya and in akhirah. Some people will say, okay, this person died and they did not see the consequences. Bad person or good person? A mazloom or a zalim? In akhir zaman, inshallah we are in akhir zaman now. There's only two types of people. Everyone should remember this. There's only two types of people in akhir zaman. One is a mazloom, the other is a zalim. If you have had injustice acted upon you, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're not a zalim. Because otherwise you'll be on the other side. If anyone sees that, for example, how come these people died as a zalim or a mazloom and they did not see the benefits in dunya as a mazloom before they died, or they did not see the consequence of their action as a zalim before they died.
Thank you very much, Sheikhna. And inshallah, if I can request the brothers and the sisters to be looking at the hadith of the day, and this is I think a very beautiful part of the program where inshallah with every single episode we'll be providing you with the hadith related to the Imam of our time, after which we'll come back and we will carry on with the oppressor and the one who is getting oppressed and the concept of raj'ah and how this is linked to it. So if you're interested to hear about that, inshallah after the hadith, do tune in.
قال الإمام جعفر بن محمد الصادق عليهما السلام: إذا قام القائم لا يبقى أرض إلا نودي فيها شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله.
Imam Ja'far bin Muhammad al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, said, when the Qa'im rises, all lands will be given the testimony, there is no God but Allah, and indeed Muhammad is the messenger of Allah.
Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back. And inshallah, like we promised, Sheikhna, we were talking about just before the hadith, we were talking about zalim and mazloom, the oppressor and the one who is getting oppressed. How is this linked?
So for example, some people may think that how is it that some people do all bad deeds in this dunya and commit injustices and they don't see it in dunya and they die and they have a good life. What seems like a good life? And vice versa, people that are mu'mineen, they're religious, they act upon everything and they die as a mazloom and they don't see any happiness in dunya. In the hadith we have that those people that have committed injustices and have had the worst of lives, in the sense of religiously, and those who have been a mazloom, who have had injustice committed upon them, will also be resurrected with a raj'ah. Every imam and every period will have his own raj'ah. So the raj'ah that we are looking forward to, inshallah, is to come back with our 12th imam.
Inshallah.
In dua al-ahd, which is to recite it every morning in fajr time, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow you to be with your imam. If you're alive, to be with him. If you're dead, to be risen from your grave, with your sword risen. شاهرا سيفي مجرد نقرات ملبيا دعوة الداعي في الحاضر والبادي. To be with your imam in the uprising. A raj'ah of the madlumin, if you like, is that of those who have been poor, who have had injustices done upon them. They've not had a life, in no way in a fault of their own. They will come back and experience all the pleasures of dunya.
Yeah.
And then they will die. Just as some of the zalims will come back in this dunya, be punished in the punishment of dunya, as well as being taken out of this dunya and punished in the akhirah.
So just to clarify before you carry on, so this concept of raj'ah, the concept of resurrection or returning to the dunya, it is for both the zalim and the mazlum?
The extremes on both sides.
Yeah.
The extreme on both. Those that saw nothing of dunya because they were mazlum,
Yeah.
they will come and enjoy it. Those that were so bad that they committed so many injustices that they don't deserve to die so easily will come back also and have. So for example, people who took the haqq of Amir alayhi salatu wasalam, the people who martyred Fatima al-Zahra salam alayha,
Yeah.
from their grave they will be resurrected. And the hadith of Sahaba Zaman will resurrect them, and they will burn them, and they will see the dunya punishment, and then they will go to akhirah and be punished again. And this is something that is mutawatir, you know, this is every school, every person in the school of Ahlul Bayt Salam accepts. So what I'm saying is that there is no injustice in the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
Everything is just, although we might not see it so clearly in front of us because of the cloudiness that we have or the lack of knowledge that we have.
Yeah.
So there's two things. One is that the aql of the insan, or the intellect of the insan, the human being, because of dunya and everything that exists around it, is polluted. This pollution stops you from seeing correctly and deciding what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
So when you talk about people's rights, who should have rights? What are rights? Sometimes because of the pollution, this is distorted.
Yeah.
What is truly not should be there is decided to be there and so forth. That's one thing. The other is the lack of knowledge. Because of ignorance, sometimes we cannot see what is clear, and the intellect cannot tell us what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
And then the mistakes are made. But what is for sure is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, and everything is going to be just. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just? It's a very simple explanation for this. Not to be just or to commit injustices, to be a zalim, you have to be needy.
Yeah.
There needs to be a need for you to commit an injustice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is needless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot exist if He was needy.
Yeah.
If He was needy, there must be a second and a third.
Definitely.
He must be created. The creator cannot be needy. The creator must be needless.
Yes.
And if He is needless, then He must be just. Because being just is part of being needless. Being needy is part of being what?
Unjust.
Being unjust. And that can't be part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes, because it takes away His perfection.
Takes away His perfection. And
Yeah.
it also shows that He needs someone else to
Definitely.
complete Him. Therefore, He can't be God.
Definitely.
Or it can't be God.
Definitely. And Jazakumullah khair, Sheikhna. I think that was a very beautiful point. And unfortunately, I don't know, yani, with all these beautiful points that you're mentioning, time is running very quickly. And we mentioned, when you're enjoying your time,
Alhamdulillah.
time is running quickly. But inshallah, we will be continuing with the respected Sheikh in the next couple of episodes to come. Inshallah, do tune in with us with the show of The Hidden Sun next Friday, inshallah, at the exact same time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى
وتسكنه أرضك وتمتعه فيها تبيا